L minus 21 minutes.
The process of transferring Cygnus to internal power, verifying the battery status, and placing its avionics into launch mode is expected to take about 7 minutes. We should find out if everything went well about 5 minutes from now. We have a video that we would like to show you that explains the steps that we are looking forward to once we hit T0 today. The launch of the Orbital ATK CRS-4 mission is expected to be at 4:44 and 57 seconds p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, we have a video now that we would like to show you about the expected upcoming milestones.
The following profile details the important events of this mission using approximate times.
5, 4, 3. We have Atlas ignition. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. We have liftoff of the Atlas V rocket carrying...
The Atlas RD-180 main engine ignites to lift the vehicle away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, Atlas begins its initial pitch, yaw, and roll maneuvers to attain the proper ascent profile and minimize aerodynamic loads. The Atlas V reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound, at 83 seconds. At 94 seconds, the vehicle experiences maximum dynamic pressure. Approaching booster engine cutoff, the Atlas V is burning propellant at the rate of 1,350 pounds per second, traveling at approximately 10,000 miles per hour, and located 79 miles in altitude and 172 miles downrange. Booster engine cutoff occurs 4 minutes and 15 seconds after liftoff. 6 seconds after booster engine cutoff, the booster stage is jettisoned. The first Centaur main engine start takes place 10 seconds after booster separation. The payload fairing is jettisoned approximately 4 minutes and 40 seconds into the flight. Cutoff of the Centaur main engine follows a nearly 14-minute burn. The mission now enters a short coast in preparation for spacecraft separation. At just over 21 minutes, Centaur releases the Cygnus spacecraft for Orbital ATK and NASA.
Back live at Space Launch Complex 41 on Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Weather is go. The team is working no technical issues, and we're standing by for a verification that the Cygnus spacecraft has been transferred to internal power. Everything remains go for a launch at 4:44:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
LC, this is CMD on countdown 1. Go. Cygnus is on internal power and configured for launch. Roger.
And good news, CMD, Cygnus Mission Director Frank DeMauro reporting that Cygnus is on internal power and go for launch. We have a go Atlas rocket, a go Cygnus spacecraft, and a go weather forecast. Everything remains on target. We're scheduled to pick up the count in a little under 12 minutes from now, leading to a liftoff at 4:44:57 p.m.
OMD, this is CMD on countdown 1.
CMD is OMD, go ahead.
The mission control centers are go for launch. ISS is go for launch. The spacecraft is go for launch. Cygnus is go for launch.
OMD, roger that.
And team, you're on net 1.
Cygnus Mission Director Frank DeMauro reported to Orbital Mission Director Frank Culbertson that everything is go. We're 14.5 minutes away from the expected launch today, 10.5 minutes away from picking up the countdown from the T-minus 4-minute hold.
LC, RC1.
Go RC.
Roger, you have a launch window management plan time through 22:00.
22:00, launch window management, and roger.
Good readback.
L-minus 14 minutes.
We have a 30-minute launch window today.
Launch.
Roger.
The Davis system cameras will be providing us with the rocket cam views from the Atlas once we lift off. Again, we have a 30-minute launch window today that begins at 4:44:57 p.m. And there are 5 discrete launch opportunities within that window. So we have some margin should winds become an issue today. At the present time, we're expecting that not to be a concern, and we are targeting the opening of the launch window. In about 3 minutes, launch conductor Scott Barney will present the terminal count briefing, and about 7 minutes before launch, or 3 minutes before picking up the count, he will conduct the status check for continuing the countdown, polling all the various consoles in the Launch Control Center. Eight minutes away from picking up the count. Launch minus 12 minutes. Preparing for the 60th Atlas V launch in the history of the rocket, and the 30th in the 401 configuration that you see here, and the first United Launch Alliance mission supporting an International Space Station cargo resupply. This resumption of cargo is an important milestone. While the pantry shelves are fairly well stocked aboard the space station, this delivery will definitely help the crew with commodities as well as research experiments as they conduct their work 250 some miles above Earth 365 days out of the year. Launch minus 11 minutes. Launch minus 10 minutes, 30 seconds. As we approach 10 minutes from launch, we'll stand by for the terminal count briefing by Launch Conductor Scott Barney.
L minus 10 minutes. Attention on the complex. All communications switch to channel 1. All personnel and visitors remain in present position until launch. Maintain operational silence in the LCC.
Terminal count briefing. If a condition exceeds a launch constraint anytime after the terminal count status check, the observer shall announce hold, hold, hold on channel 1, identify their station, and briefly state the reason for the hold. OSM, verify the FCO, RCO, and OSM hold fire switches are in the proceed position.
Ready to proceed.
Flight control, perform launch on time verification.
Roger.
RC, verify solar radiation acceptable for launch.
Verified.
This is Atlas Launch Control, T-minus 4 minutes in holding, about a minute and a half away from the launch conductor pole for the final go to pick up the countdown. Scott Barney will poll 27 engineers and managers for system status and readiness to proceed with the launch. And this will be the final status check before launch for all Atlas vehicle systems, ground systems, the Cygnus spacecraft, and the U.S. Air Force Eastern Range. The readiness poll includes hydraulics, the pad water deluge system, electrical systems, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and propellants. And the range will verify its readiness to proceed. Weather appears to be go.
Status check.
And we stand by for this status check in about 15 seconds.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur systems, propulsion.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Has gas.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
Instrumentation.
Go.
COM.
Go.
Timer.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Red line monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
ACs go.
Range coordinator.
Clear to proceed.
Launch Director.
LD is go. You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. T0 is planned for 21:44:57 Zulu. Set count to start at 21:40:57 Zulu.
Roger. T0 is set for 21:44:57 Zulu. Count will start at 21:40:57 Zulu.
Polling is complete, and the team has been given the go for launch. The countdown will resume in about a minute 20 seconds, and from T-minus 4 minutes until launch, you'll be listening to the launch conductor Scott Barney and his team performing the final steps in the countdown procedure. You'll hear the team confirm the securing of Atlas liquid oxygen topping, followed by the call to transfer the Atlas and Centaur stages from ground facility power to internal battery power. At T-minus 1 minute 55 seconds, the team will command the launch sequencer to start, followed shortly by securing the Centaur liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen topping activity. At T-minus 1 minute 40 seconds, the team will command the flight control system to launch enable and arm the flight termination system. In the final minute, the Atlas tanks will be verified at flight pressures, followed by verification of the Centaur tank pressures. And a final status check of Atlas, Centaur, and Cygnus readiness will be conducted at T-minus 25 seconds. Just seconds before liftoff, the RD-180 engine ignites, performs a health check, followed by ignition and liftoff. After liftoff, you'll be hearing the voice of Marty Malinowski providing launch vehicle ascent data.
2, 1, mark.
And we're T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
3:55.
Pyros enabled.
All systems are go. T-minus 3 minutes, 35 seconds and counting. Standing by to secure liquid oxygen topping. T-minus 3 minutes and counting. T-minus 2 minutes, 30 seconds and counting. Flight termination system has been transferred to internal. We'll be standing by for the transfer of Atlas power to internal at T-minus 2 minutes, followed immediately afterward by the transfer of Centaur power to internal. T-minus 2 minutes.
Vehicle internal.
Launch sequencer start.
150.
Securing Centaur LH2.
Securing Centaur locks.
140.
Launch enabled.
137.
And
FTS
counting.
armed.
Everything going by the timeline.
$120.
Centaur
FCS count started.
vent
Port
valves
disarm.
to be locked in the launch position at T-minus 1 minute 10 seconds.
Vent valves locked.
60 seconds.
Rock, report range status.
Range green.
Everything is go. T-minus 48 seconds and counting.
Stable at step 3.
Atlas tank stable at step 3. T-minus 30 seconds and counting.
25.
Status check. Go Atlas. Go Centaur.
Go OA-4.
20.
T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. On the shoulders of Atlas, the SS Deke Slayton II Orbital ATK Cygnus spacecraft soars toward the International Space Station.
Q has gone closed loop control. HER roll program's begun. Body rates are good.
Listening to Marty Malinowski.
180 pump speeds and injector pressures are banned for SNMR. Body rates continue to look phenomenal.
Seconds into flight.
New rates climbing somewhat, so controlling well. RD 180. Pump speeds, injector pressures all look good. Gun flying the zero angle attack phase of flight. HER roll program is now complete. Body rates controlling right down the middle. Currently accelerating at 1.6 Gs.
Standing by to pass through Mach 1.
Mach 1.
And approaching maximum dynamic pressure.
Continue to look good. Maximum dynamic pressure. Booster has now throttled back right on schedule. Engine response looks good. Current altitude is 10.5 miles, downrange distance 5.2 miles, current velocity 1,876 miles per hour. Range track shows the vehicle making good progress right down the middle of the range. Pump speeds, injector pressures look good for the throttle setting. Body rates continue to look good.
2 minutes, 10 seconds into flight. Marty Malinowski giving us updates as the Atlas flies uphill toward the International Space Station.
Closed-loop steering has been enabled. Body rates continue to look very good. Q alpha limited steering has begun. The vehicle is now less than 1/2 its liftoff weight. The RCS pyro valve has been fired. That system is now pressurizing the flight levels. Signatures look good. Current altitude is 28 miles, downrange distance 38 miles, current velocity 4,285 miles per hour. Coming up on our 3.5 G throttle segment.
3 minutes into flight.
And the booster has begun to throttle, 3.5 Gs. Q alpha limited steering is complete.
About 45 seconds away from booster engine cutoff. Followed about 6 seconds later by the Centaur second stage separation.
Now 1/4 its liftoff. Coming up on our boost phase cooldown phase. And boost phase cooldown has begun. Signatures look good so far. Throttling to maintain 3.5 Gs. Boost phase chill down is complete. And we have engine shutdown.
Engine shutdown as planned.
We have retros and stage separation. We have LOX and fuel pre-start. The GN2 purge firing of the RCS is underway. And we have ignition and full thrust on the RL-10.
The Centaur single RL-10C engine has ignited to begin about a 13.5 minute burn that will take Cygnus into low Earth orbit, generating 22,900 pounds of thrust with the engine.
Centaur thermal conditioning firings of the RCS are underway. PU has gone active. Current altitude is 124 miles, downrange distance 332 miles. Current velocity is 9,998 miles per hour. RL-10 chamber pressures, pump discharge, and fuel injector all look good. He is controlling near nominal MR at this point.
The payload fairing that covered Cygnus has been jettisoned as scheduled.
Quick check of the booster performance shows it is nominal at this point in our review. Centaur body rates, controlling right down the middle.
6 minutes into flight.
Coming up on our dogleg maneuver. Centaur is now begun the dogleg. RL-10 continues to operate well. PU is controlling near nominal MR. Centaur dogleg maneuver is complete. This burn is planned for 802 seconds in duration. Coming up on the format change, data quality currently is all very good. And we have had the format change. Data has resumed. All signatures look good across the format change. Centaur has completed its role to optimize telemetry. RL-10 continues to perform well. Currently flying at an altitude of 194 miles, downrange distance 681 miles, current velocity 10,456 miles per hour.
7 minutes, 25 seconds into the mission of Cygnus to the International Space Station.
Seeing our normal thermal conditioning firings on the RCS. Flying temperatures have warmed near bottle temperatures on the RCS. Body rates continue to look good. Tank pressures are stable. Storage bottle pressures look good. Bus and battery voltages are stable as well. Range track shows the vehicle continues to make good progress right down the middle of the corridor. Currently flying at an altitude of 213 miles, downrange distance 870 miles, current velocity 10,800 miles per hour. Pressures continue to look good. Storage bottle pressures do as well. Body rates controlling down the middle. And RL-10 performance looks nominal.
9 minutes after liftoff. Everything proceeding normally.
Centaur continues to perform well. All 10 chamber pressures and pump discharge, good. MR near nominal. Body rates right down the middle. Approaching the head-on gate momentarily. And Centaur has achieved the head-on gate at this point in its trajectory.
Picture perfect ascent so far, approaching 10 minutes into flight.
Altitude of 226 miles, downrange distance 1,191 miles, current velocity 11,621 miles per hour.
Now looking at real-time telemetry-driven animation, showing the status of the Centaur with the Cygnus spacecraft.
Centaur has switched to the antenna select mode. Link margins continue to look very good. RL-10 continues to perform well. Chamber pressure is right in band for the set MR. Body rates controlling down the middle. Tank pressures look good. Plus some battery voltages do as well.
11 minutes into flight. Once again, you're listening to Marty Malinowski giving you ascent vehicle information.
RCS thermal conditioning firings. The system is looking very stable thermally. PU has requested an oxidizer-rich condition at this point. Engine response looks good. Current altitude, 221 miles. Downrange distance, 1,543 miles. Current velocity, 12,545 miles per hour.
Good job. 12 minutes into the mission.
PU continues to request a slightly rich, oxidizer-rich condition. Engine response looks very good. DC, box pump discharge, and fuel venturi all stable in expected bands. RCS line temperatures and bottle temperatures are stable.
About another 5.5 minutes left in this burn of the Centaur engine.
Range track shows the vehicle still making good progress downrange. Current altitude 207 miles, downrange distance 1,898 miles. Current velocity 13,488 miles per hour. All Centaur systems continue to look very good at this point in the mission. Body rates controlling right down the middle. Engine operation is stable within expected parameters for the set MR. Thermal conditioning firings continue on the RCS, and line temperatures look very good.
About 4 more minutes remaining in the burn of the Centaur engine. We're 14 minutes, 23 seconds into flight.
Centaur continues to accelerate at 0.6 Gs. Our L10 operation continues to look good, still controlling somewhat oxidizer rich. Continue to see our RCS line conditioning firings. Body rates right down the middle. Current altitude 180 miles downrange distance. 2,431 miles. Current velocity 14,843 miles per hour.
Everything going well. We're 15 minutes, 40 seconds into the mission of Orbital ATK CRS-4, launching Cygnus to the International Space Station.
950 seconds into the mission. All Centaur systems continue to look good. Currently flying at an altitude of 167 miles. Downrange distance 2,730 miles. Velocity 15,597. Two minutes remain in this burn.
Centaur will deliver Cygnus to a specific place in space, where the spacecraft will separate from Centaur, unfurl its solar arrays, and begin its mission toward the International Space Station.
Range track continues to show Centaur making good progress down the range. Current altitude 157 miles, downrange distance 3,036, current velocity 16,286 miles per hour. RL-10 performance continues to look good, still requesting a slightly rich, oxidizer-rich condition. Body rates controlling right down the middle. One minute to MECO.
A little less than 1 minute left in the burn of the Centaur engine.
All the Centaur systems continue to look good. RL-10 performance is nominal. Body rates controlling down the middle. Currently at an altitude of 151 miles, downrange distance 3,404 miles, current velocity 17,102 miles per hour. And we have IAP vanish at this point. Centaur is now orbital.
Standing by for main engine cutoff.
And we have MECO. Engine shutdown looks good. We have 4S settling motors on. We have begun the turn to the spacecraft separation attitude.
About 2.5 minutes away from spacecraft separation.
Coast to spacecraft separation is scheduled for 2 minutes and 49 seconds. We are continuing to turn to the spacecraft separation attitude. Still settling with 4S settling motors. Tank pressures are stable. Storage bottles are as well. Batteries look good.
About 90 seconds away from the spacecraft separation.
And a quick look at the MECO 1 plus 3 OPM shows Centaur is exactly where we expect it to be. Orbit looks good.
And that's great news. Centaur is where it needs to be to place Cygnus exactly where it needs to be in space.
And Centaur has completed its turn to spacecraft separation attitude.
Separation coming up in about 30 seconds.
About 20 more seconds to spacecraft sep. Centaur fuel tank is being vented. Tank vent is complete. And we have spacecraft separation.
Spacecraft separation confirmed.
Centaur has begun its turn to the CCAM attitude.
Congratulations around the Mission Director Center here at the Atlas Space Flight Operations Center. SS Deke Slayton II, welcome to space. From liftoff to spacecraft separation, everything went by the timeline. It appears to be a healthy Cygnus spacecraft. We'll be standing by for solar array deploy. That is yet to come today. We expect to talk to Vern Thorpe about the success of the launch today.
Thank you all very much. Copy, Frank. Thank you.
Orbital Mission Director Frank Culbertson just gave a big thanks to the entire team of NASA, Orbital ATK, and United Launch Alliance for a successful launch today and putting Cygnus exactly where it needs to be in space. This is Atlas Launch Control, 23 minutes 44 seconds after the launch today of Orbital ATK's CRS-4. Congratulations, Vern Thorpe. Vern, that was a terrific day, a terrific launch. We wanted to thank you and congratulate you for getting
Thank you, Mike.
the spacecraft where it needs to be in space. It appeared that everything went very well today.
It did. It did. We were able to launch at the opening of the window. The winds cooperated. They were running right about 20 knots or just below 18 to 20 knots at liftoff. So we're done talking about the winds for this week. We've been talking about winds all week, and that's enough. The countdown was exceptionally smooth. It was one of those countdowns that makes it look kind of boring. We really had no issues to speak of during the count. The vehicle was great. The ground systems were great. And initial look says we had a pretty clean flight, too. Everything happened right on time. We put the Cygnus module into an orbit inclined about 51.6 degrees, and the altitude's 124 nautical miles circular. And we lifted off within a tenth of a second of the first opportunity in the window. We lifted off at 4:44 and 57.1 seconds. So this is about as good as it gets. And
really
I know
is.
that the crew up on the ISS is really looking forward to getting this load of cargo.
We heard that they had an opportunity to look at launch through the windows of the cupola, and we don't know if they did or not.
I'm sorry, Mike, I couldn't hear that. What was that?
We understood that they had an opportunity to look at launch through the windows of the cupola module, but we're not sure whether they did or not.
Yeah, we were wondering that in the back row of the MDC. I think the space station was coming up over Cuba about the time of the launch, so they should have had a nice broadside view of the launch. So I'll be curious to hear if they were able to see that or not.
Yeah, we will find out. It was a wonderful launch today, and your 12th successful launch in a calendar year. That's just amazing.
It was. We averaged one a month this year, and we've got a very busy 2016. We have 16 missions on the manifest right now, and I'll be back here probably with you in 3 months. We'll do this again for OA-6.
Yeah, well, we will be looking forward to it. I think it was a fabulous day, and just another tremendous effort by the United Launch Alliance team.
Well, thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Vern. Now we're looking at the Dulles Mission Control Center, where the orbital team is monitoring Cygnus progress. And again, joy throughout the country as we had a successful launch today in the beginning of this mission, resupplying the International Space Station, a mission to resume resupply missions from American soil. Successful launch today of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V, carrying the Orbital ATK Cygnus SS Deke Slayton II spacecraft toward the International Space Station. Here in Mission Control Houston, flight controllers watching data, in contact with the International Space Station crew, and awaiting the arrival on Wednesday, December 9th, for Cygnus to arrive in the vicinity of the International Space Station. Kjell Lindgren and Scott Kelly will reach out with the International Space Station Canadarm2 robotic arm, grab the Cygnus spacecraft, and berth it to the Earth-facing port of the Unity module, bringing new supplies and experiments to the International Space Station crew.